Food for Thought with Professor David Ndetei.
A very good morning to you. My name is James Okumu. Welcome to Food for Thought with Professor Ndetei. Last week and the week before that, we kicked off a brand new series talking about post-traumatic stress disorder, defining what it is, what are the symptoms. We want to talk about solutions today. What are the possible treatments and how do you get to access them? That's the conversation today on Food for Thought. Just wondering, for people who've been exposed to such extreme inhumane acts, does it take them longer to recover?
It depends on the intensity of that kind of exposure.
Yeah.
It depends on the intensity of that kind of exposure, and also on the levels of resilience. Where resilience, we think, the resilience is the ability to cope with the difficult situations.
Yes.
That ability is maybe genetically determined. So we are different in the way in which we cope with such situations.
Okay.
But if you allow me,
Yeah.
because this is very important for Kenyans who are listening, for the viewers who are listening. In Rwanda, when all of these people when they had relatively no professionals, me and two of my colleagues, what could we do? All that we did was to get them together, people who had experienced these things, and put them in an environment in which they could share what they had gone through.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody will say, this is what I went through, this happened to me. Somebody will say, you know, my brother, my sister, I went through it. This is a person who probably with a higher level of resilience. I went through it, and this is the way I am managing. This is the way I manage my situation, and I seem to be improving. The fact that you hear somebody else who went through what you went through,
Yeah,
and they are managing, has tremendous therapeutic effect. How can a person like me, with thousands of people sitting in an office, spend 1 hour on a face-to-face interaction with one person?
yeah.
How many times how long will it take for me to do that kind of thing? I need to go through. I'll be exhausted. I will have burnout.
Yeah.
But get people together, and then we borrowed that from what happened in Rwanda, and they brought it to Kenya. And we started applying that same principle with the victims of the American bomb blast. We just brought them together, and they started talking, and there was improvement.
I'm just thinking of probably victims of rape, even in a family setting, where this is something that happened and no one else was there. You know, do they also go through post-traumatic stress disorder?
I don't want to cut you short. Absolutely.
Yes.
The problem is they keep it to themselves. And they start blaming themselves. Was I my problem? Why did I in the first place go out with it? Men rates occur during dating.
Yes.
Yeah, why it was my mistake? Why did I go out with it? Why did I agree? Why is it that I allowed them to to intoxicate me with alcohol? I should have been more responsible. And then they started blaming themselves. Of course, there are situations when it occurs, when obviously it was not their mistake. They were just ambushed, and things happened. Yes, I think as I'm talking to you now, and the listeners are listening to this, there are those people who have gone through that kind of a traumatic experience. Please, I ask you, go and talk to somebody who listening in a sympathetic manner. That will be the beginning. Don't live with it. It's going to eat you up. It's going to cause all the complications that we talked about, psychiatric condition, physical conditions, and so on and so on. Go and find somebody who, they don't have to be professionals, but you can go and talk to a friend.
Okay.
And a trusted friend. That is a starting point.
Okay.
and open up. They should not stay with it.
Yeah,
I,
Professor, I've seen cases whereby you find this couple, they get married, but they cannot be intimate because it seems like there's something. Could cases like this where you were sexually abused as a young child and you never dealt with it, you never talked to anybody, and now that you are married, could it be an issue that could affect your intimacy with your spouse?
That's a very big yes, and we see it all the time.
Wow.
You ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when you are dealing with patients with the psychological problems, they will not come and tell you, I have this problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right? They will probably tell you one or two things. I'm not sleeping well and I'm irritable.
Yes.
That's all they want you to deal with. Sometimes it's not even a psychological problem, like I'm not sleeping well, I'm not eating well. They will tell you about, I am not getting on so with my spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where, and if you ask them anything else, they say, no, deal with this. And they would have moved from one doctor to one doctor, and all they do is tell them those things. So they are given sleeping pills,
yeah,
or they are given appetites and things like that, but not for the real reason.
Mm-hmm.
So it is for us professional people, and there are only few of us psychiatrists, but we have enough nurses, we have enough clinical officers, or we have very many people. We have pastors like you. Mm-hmm. We have all kinds of people. If they get to know that this is just a symptom or it's a sign that is pointing to a certain direction, and then you have that time and dig out this information slowly, it will come out. Mm-hmm. But you have to be sensitive in making proper interpretation. This symptom that is being fronted to me by the patient, what is the story behind it?
Yeah.
I think that's the starting point. It requires time,
mm-hmm.
It requires patience, it requires putting the patients into some kind of relaxed atmosphere, mm-hmm. where they think they can trust you, that you are not in a hurry just to see them and get them going away, so that you finish heal.
Okay. I wonder, for somebody who's going through this post-traumatic stress disorder, when they have these episodes, can they get violent?
Can they not do?
Can they get violent?
It depends on the context. We do know that when people become violent,
mm-hmm.
that they start attacking other people. There may be very many reasons,
mm-hmm.
and you have seen these stories. You know them. That somebody is violent in the house, is beating other people.
Yeah.
Or somebody goes to, and we hear a lot of it among soldiers,
mm-hmm.
policemen. Somebody goes home with a gun.
Yes.
And he clears the family and then he shoots himself.
Yes.
Don't just see the fact that they killed.
Yeah.
The most important thing was, what was the state of the mind at that point when they killed? Okay.
Yes.
This is something that was given to us some time back in 1830s.
Mm-hmm.
You may have heard this kind of story.
Yeah.
I'm not going into the details of that, but somebody killed somebody, or killed the assistant to the Prime Minister of UK around that project. In fact, it was 1843, 20th of January,
mm-hmm.
long time ago. And of course, eventually, there was inquiry, and this way we have what the lawyers know called McNaughton rules. that yes, this person killed somebody by mistake because he thought he was the Prime Minister of UK that time, and the state of the mind was such. This person was hearing voices, by the way, which that imitated the Prime Minister, but he killed them, and then this man was sentenced to life imprisonment. I think he died in 1866.
Okay.
He was not sentenced to death, although it was obvious that he killed this person, shot him 5 times in the head. The Prime Minister was taken to St. Thomas Hospital, which was near the House of Parliament, and the person who was shot. But eventually, they say this person who was acting in that state of mind at that other time. Let me give you an example, because people think this is a joke. All right?
Yeah.
If, but there are very many people carrying guns. Okay? They are licensed to carry guns. But even if they are not licensed to carry guns, let me ask you, anybody who is listening to this, if in the house, you are in your house, and the thugs break into your house.
Yes.
If you hit one of them on the head and he dies, all right? Shall we congratulate you or shall we blame you?
We can't blame you because you're defending yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
These people believe at the time that they committed the crime that they were doing self-defense or they were just finding their way of reasoning. And that's where Daniel McTony rules play. What was the state of mind when it happened?
Wow. Professor, thank you so much for your time. We truly do appreciate it. I believe this information is helping our listeners so much because these are issues we need to talk about. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for tuning in today to Food for Thought with Professor Ndetey. I pray that this information is beneficial to you. Remember, even the Bible does tell us, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Have yourselves a good day. We'll connect again next week.